Real soul. Brother Gil, rest in peace. Come on, come on. Come on, come on. Come on, come on. Come on, come on. Come on. Come on, come on. Come on, come on. Come on. I want to let you know, hey, look, I don't have a whole lot, but I'm not gonna lie to you. Say, I can't drive you around in no Mercedes Benz, but you know, I can't take you shopping at all the fabulous places, you know, but there's one thing that I can give you. I can give you all the love that you can stand. Yeah. And that's what we all need. Let me do it. Come on, when you go. Come on, let me do it. Oh, when you go, girl, let me do it. Come on, when you go. Come on, let me do it. Oh, when you go, girl, let me do it. When you go, let me do it, baby. When you go, let me do it. Oh, when you go, come on, let me do it. Yeah. I understand you. Do you love? I understand you. 'Cause you love, girl. know you heard it all, but you ain't never heard it like this before. Some people talk it, some people walk it, but some people, they're a part of it. And I know, because I've been told it. You know why? Because I was born to underground. I was born in this underground, and I ain't got no damn time to mess around. So I called my man Booker T over in the UK, and I said, listen, man, we need to put this down. It ain't no time to play. Like so many of you, I'm glad that I'm still alive. And we're gonna do this house music thing. You know why? This is the way we do it. It makes us feel alright. Because I was born in the underground. And like so many of you, you were born too. That's why we like to get down. Born. I remember when they said it was time to jack. I remember when Marshall said move your body. I remember all of that. Born. Put your hands up in the air if you know what I mean. Born. If you're doing this house music thing, let's do it like they ain't never seen. Born. The only thing you need is some baby powder and a fat ass track. Born. Come on now, Booker T, let's bang it in. Give it up like that. Come on. It's a house music thing. You know what I mean? BORN. You gotta know about this thing. Bone. And the underground. Only few understand the underground. Bone. And only few comprehend the underground. Bone. And I'm gonna tell you again why we all attracted as a family. Bone in the underground. Bone, and you're my family. You're my friends. Bone in the underground. Like me, you were born to jack, to move your body, and do all of that. Come on. I remember when Frankie and Jamie gave us Baby Wanna Ride. Nah, 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 nah. Love will always be the message. And that's why we gotta keep this thing alive. Boom. Brother Basil with my brother Booker T. Thanks for getting down, family. Peace. Love was your destiny. All your life you've been living in a fantasy. It's just an illusion, your cross to bear. Come on. Locked in your heart, you lost the key. I can say this very, very tenderly, but when you're gonna give up, I give you everything you need. Oh, girl, you've been hoodwinked, bamboozled, run amok, and led astray, tricked, deceived, and abused. Girl, you've been mocked and swindled. Girl, you've been used. I can't say I'm perfect. I stand accused. I got love, baby. Oh, I got it. Yeah. I got love. I got love for you. Plenty love. I got love for you. Come on. Plenty love. I got love. I got love for you. Plenty love. I got love for you. Come on. Plenty love for you. You've been hoodwinked, bamboozled, run amok, led astray, tricked, deceived, and abused. Oh, you've been mocked and swindled. Girl, you've been used. I can't say I'm perfect and I stand accused. I got love. I got love. Come on. I got love. Come on. I got love. Come on. Come on and tell me when you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, partners, family, friends, and other Solar Team enthusiasts, welcome to the Solar Team Twente's 10th car reveal of Radix. It is an honor to stand before you today as you embark on an exciting journey through 20 years of Solar Team. My name is Jessica, and together with Martin, we'll be your host of this evening.
Today, we will take you into the story behind this car, the story of 19 team members who work days and sometimes nights on this project. The story of 19 team members who worked on this project and dropped their normal student lives with only one goal, building the best solar car of the world and winning the Bridgestone World Solar Challenge in Australia. But before we start, I would like everyone to put their phone into silent mode. Taking pictures is of course no problem.
The fact that we can share this moment with you tonight fills me with enormous pride. Finally, we can show you what we've been working so hard on. But before the curtain comes off, I want to take you back to the beginning. We're going to walk you through our histories and the stories that have shaped us as Solar Team Twente. We'll do this under the roof of this old stork hall, and as the smell might suggest, machines have been assembled here for decades. Exactly on this location, the April-May strike started in the Second World War, something that caused an enormous commotion at the country at the time. But that is all to come.
Now it's up to us to welcome 3 special guests to the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, give them a warm welcome. Major of Hengelo, Sander Schelberg, and representatives of Trebbe, Patrick and Pascal. Alsjeblieft.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it works. Dear Mayor of the City of Hengelo, dear members of the Solar Team, welcome, dear guests, to this old facility of Stork. But safety first. Before I continue with my introduction, I would like to provide you with a few basic safety rules. You and your safety are of our utmost importance for us. As you have noticed yourself, you are in a facility where we used to produce machines and not to demonstrate cars, let alone to host so many people here. So please, mind your step if you walk, because there might be unevenness in the floor, and it's also slippery in the middle of the hall. But also mind your head, because there are protruding pieces across the entire hall as well. Please don't operate any switches or handles. I know there might be a few curious technicians amongst you that might operate those, but please don't do that. There are no fire drills planned, and in the unlikely event of an alarm or any incident, please remain calm and use the emergency exits behind myself, but also across that part of the hall, and walk to the assembly point, which is across the street at the RSC parking. So much about safety. That's just according to standard industry practice. With that having said, again, a warm welcome to everybody, to Stork, and welcome to Hengelo, a city that was called Metal City for decades, mainly under the influence of Stork, who founded his company in 1868 right at this spot. But that is now long ago, and things obviously have changed in the region and in the city, and our company has initiated that change and adapted to those changes over time. Let me give you a bird's eye view on the technology developments over the last, say, 150 years. Very quick, from peat to clean tech. 150 years ago, machines and boilers were manufactured here that run on peat and coal. 60 to 90 years ago, marine engines and other engines were manufactured right in this hall, like those machines that you can see behind on the visual. Those enormous machines run on diesel. 40 to 50 years ago, we produced gas compressors and gas turbines and assembled those until recently in this hall. And currently, less than 1 kilometer away in the new facility of Stork, Stork is conducting tests with a boiler that runs on oxygen and hydrogen with only water as a waste product. As a company, and in the spirit of its founder, Stork has often been at the forefront of innovative technologies and has adapted its business to technological developments over the years with more and more emphasis on sustainability. The current Stork embraces those sustainable technologies and is part of the latest technologies aiming to be the industry reference. We call that maintaining a better world, continuous innovation in order to ultimately contribute to a slightly better and more sustainable world today and tomorrow. And in collaboration with partners. And look what brings us together here now in the context of the Solar Team Challenge. The newest solar car of the Solar Team Twente. At least that is what I expect will be under this cover. Right in the middle of the industrial heart of Hengelo. Could the founder of our company, CT Charles Stork, have imagined that one day a car would be able to run on solar energy alone? Despite him being a visionary, the concept that humans could move around in a vehicle powered by solar energy was probably also science fiction for CT Stork at the time. In any case, as an innovative entrepreneur, CT Stork would have been extremely proud of what is being unveiled here today. A strong example of advanced and innovative technology packaged in an extremely attractive design, as you will see later on. The Solar Team Challenge is an example of continuous improvement and investment in new sustainable technologies in optima forma. Stork is therefore proud to host this inspiring event and to foster science and young talented scientists and entrepreneurs at the start of their professional career, because you hold the key to a sustainable future for us all. Now the diesel engines are not pounding anymore, the gas compressors are gone, and Stork has moved, as I said, to a new location right at the canal here in Hengelo, not less than 1 kilometer away. And this historic hall and the entire site ultimately needs to be renewed. And that is why we collaborate with Trebbe as developer and constructor, and that is why we collaborate with the municipality and other stakeholders to in future realize a completely new development here at this site, which does justice to history and the Stork legacy, but at the same time is innovative as well, with a sustainable view to the future. And I would therefore later on want to invite Pascal Lutjens from Trebbe to offer you a glimpse into the future of this location without this future direction definitively being determined yet. But before we go there, and before I invite Trebbe to the stage, however, I would like to ask Mr. Sander Schelberg to come to the stage for his opening comments. And last but not least, I wish the Solar Team Twente, every success with this solar challenge in Australia, and hope that the technology they have developed is a further step towards a sunny future for each of them and all of us. Thank you very much. Mr. Sander Schelberg.
Mr. Mike, yes. A very warm, a little bit wet, warm welcome to everyone here in the heart, the real heart of Hengelo, at the historical Stork building, so you heard. Since its founding, Stork has been a driving force behind a lot of technological revolutions and energy transitions. It all started, so as you heard, in 1868, with just only repair work. But the company started to thrive and a lot of innovations. And it took place at that time in our time. With that in mind, it's no coincidence that this event is hosted in this building. Innovation meets innovation. It's in our DNA. It's good to see you all here. I see students, I see entrepreneurs, I see policymakers, I see technicians. And I see some familiar faces and some people I have yet to meet. And it's an honor to be here with you all, especially the young talents from Solar Team Twente, innovative, entrepreneurial, and full of passion. I'm proud to meet you in this inspiring environment. I believe the solar team is the wonderful example of young talent that use their energy and passion to achieve high quality innovations in close collaboration with each other. It must be amazing to be a part of such an innovative team, working with a diverse group of people with one goal in mind, to design the best solar car in the world. And I spoke to a former member of the solar team Twente, who told me he learned a lot during his participation of the solar team. To him, it felt like he learned more during the solar team challenge than in all the years of studying combined. Also, I think participating in a challenge like this is a lot more fun than lectures or writing papers. I mean, imagine you had to choose between visiting Australia down under, a battle for a world championship, or doing your daily homework, or, well, listening to a speech by the mayor. There's something I really like about the Solar Team Challenge. In order to keep it fresh and exciting, the regulations are changed every year. And this means that the team are forced to innovate. And I firmly believe they will, because they are not just students. These are the students from Twente, a region that breathes technology and innovation. As a region, we want to focus on development more as a green technological top region, and that's why we are happy to have all those innovative people like you. And because talent like you will help us to develop the region of Twente even more. So now it's it's not really rocket science. We want to keep talent like you in Twente. And when I imagine your perspective, I truly believe you would want to stay in Twente as well, because, well, this is the place to be. Like I said, we are an innovative region and are more home to some wonderful high-tech companies and promising startups. The tension on the labor market is currently very high. There is a great demand of young talent, technological skilled talent in particular. For example, I've heard Thales has 400 vacancies. So don't worry, finding an exciting job won't be a problem. We have working locations like the High-Tech Systems Park of Kennis Park. With the Green Box, we have a clean tech campus which serves a dedicated hub for clean tech, entrepreneurship, and also production. By the look of your faces, I can see you're already enthusiastic. So I am. Do we also lack things compared to other regions, you think? Of course we do. For example, we don't have exorbitant housing prices or traffic jams like Amsterdam. We don't have. I'm sorry. But sometimes students leave Twente after their graduation, and their primary motive, they mention the lack of urban dynamics. So let's make a deal here tonight. Or more especially, our local government is committed to provide affordable housing, ensure a nice living environment, and excellent accessibility of our region by water, road and rail. And we will provide you with urban dynamics, and you will use to you all your innovative skills to show the world what Twente has to offer. Where do they make solar cars like they do in Twente? Nowhere. And for the non-believers, guess who is the winner of the Solar Challenge in Morocco in 2021? Of course, indeed, it was the Solar Team Twente. You can be proud of yourselves, but keep in mind, your professional life just started. Use the Solar Team Challenge as a set of life skills for the rest of your career and your personal life. It will highlight 3 main points. One, always be open for innovation. Don't be afraid to try new things. And keep in mind, there are no obstacles, only challenges. You are never the second one. You are never done learning. Learning doesn't end after your graduation. Keep an open mind and you will have a lifetime of learning. And the third, you can do it on your own. The best innovations are formed by a group of people, in a particular diverse group of people with different insights of all, and seek always the collaboration. Enjoy this evening. Let's inspire each other. And don't forget, we've made a deal. Together we keep talent in the green technological top region of Twente. And we will show the world what kind of innovations we develop. Thank you very much and good luck.
Good evening all. I hope to give you a small insight in the project that we're working on at the moment. A unique location in the city center of Hengelo and near the station and just between the university is sorry, between Hengelo and Enschede, where the university is lying. So, next one. Well, what can you do with a location with 45,000 square meters? We are developing, together with the team of the government, a plan, a vision, what we can do with it. If you look at the battery plant in London, this size, this location fits twice in it. The docks in Amsterdam also, if you compare it, it's almost as great as the location in Rotterdam, the docks. But this one is near the station, near the city center, so that's what makes it unique. We made 4 core values for the location. The first one should be welcome. You should feel welcome, open, and it should be nice to stay. You should pride. Also the solar team, with the pride that the history of Stork meets the new urban culture on this location. Enterprising, inspiring for companies in top tech to take place at this location. And tough and rough, where steel meets sustainable development. This is a place where history and top tech meet. Development with respect for the past, and where the past meets the future. From old steam engines, ship motors, which were built here, with the big cranes you see, to modern high-tech. We believe that there is no top tech without urban culture. That's what we think makes this location special. This is what the region needs, an inspiring place with a mix of young professionals in a modern city living. A place where you can come and stay, that invites people from the West, but also from Germany, to stay over and come and look. The place where living, relaxing and working can come together. You all are the future. Top tech. The car Red X, just in front of us, made in Twente, that's what Pride also stands for. Maybe in the near future, your team can develop the next car at this location. So we will look. We believe that creating this project with the right urban culture, where living, relaxing, work comes together, inspires young professionals and companies to ground here. We cannot do that alone. With a strong team from the government, together with Stork, and you all, we can. We believe that. Make this place your future. We invite you to inspire us. Thank you.
Today, we celebrate not only the unveiling of Radix, but also the incredible journey that has led us here. Because exactly 20 years ago, a small group of students believed in the potential of solar energy to transform transportation. And with that belief, Solar Team Twente was born. From their small beginnings, this team, or this family, has grown and learned and reached remarkable achievements.
In the spirit of honoring our roots, we have the privilege to invite the founder of Solar Team Twente to the stage. He started with nothing more than the dream, accepted the challenge, and finished 9th in the Bridgestone World Solar Challenge. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Joe Skoekarts. Hij staat al aan.
Thank you. It was indeed 20 years ago, almost to this day, that I started the Solar Team Twente. But 20 years ago, we only had the Delft Solar Team. And they made it look easy to win. They won the first on the first go, and I wanted to be part of that. So when they asked for a new team in 2002, I applied, even though I was from Twente. But they said, no, we only accept master students. I was only a bachelor. Nevertheless, I was committed. I only needed one more push. I went to the principal's office and asked him, can I start a solar team? He said yes. So that was my start to create a website and get a poster and hang it on all campus. And all 9 students who applied, they became the team. You see them right here. How old is this, isn't it? 20 years ago. But how did we learn to build a car? We did a lot of desk study. As if it's correct, the next video will run. There we go. We did a lot of desk study, but we needed a practical view as well. So it just happened that there was a race in Greece before the Olympics. So we spent our personal money to go there and take a look at what the other teams have built and how they race a car. So our plans progressed quite nicely, but time and funding became a problem. It took us so much so that even some members quit until only 3 months before the race. Just think about it. Right now, we would have the money to build a car. Here is one already. We did not have one. In 3 months we would race. We found Raadhuis as the main sponsor. But now we had to be quick. I was the one who was in charge of the solar cells. We bought our gallium arsenide solar cells. We soldered them ourselves. We laminated them ourselves using a silicon panel manufacturer. And we cut the excess plastic with a way overpowered laser in the university. This was never done before, but it all worked. So now we could reveal our car, and it was only 1 month before the race started, and that's when we did our first drive. We had to, because we had a record attempt at the bus lane in Enschede, a FIA record. We wanted to get the fastest speed by solar only. This record actually still stands, but it actually is simply because nobody ever done it before, or nobody ever have done it yet. Straight after the race, we packed our car and we shipped it to Australia. These days were our actual first tests. Mechanically and electrically, our car was fine. But in the first days, we had probably about 30 flat tires. That was a bit of a problem. Nevertheless, in the middle during the race near Alice Springs, we fixed the tires. We got a new wheel alignment. And then our race was much better. We actually matched the speed of the top teams. We even exceeded the speed limit, doing 128 kilometers per hour. Average speed was about 90, by the way. And we finished 9th this race, the best newcomer. But if I look back at this race, many of these memories have been made from the work done to get to the car. One of my memories that is quite interesting is driving around the country with this 500 euro car with 50,000 euro worth of solar cells in them. But the race itself changed me. I traveled a lot. I made a connection with the Taiwanese solar team and many more. And I actually went to Taiwan and did my master's degree there. After my master's degree, I went to Australia. I did my PhD in Melbourne. And of course, when you're in Australia, that's where the World Solar Challenge is. You become the observer of the World Solar Challenge. Just by chance, I had the opportunity to be the observer of the Solar Team Twente. They didn't know I was Dutch, let alone that I was the founder of the team. I also became a member of the Aurora Solar Team, and you see me here racing in the 2013 World Solar Challenge, winning the adventure class in that time. So I've had 3 different teams. If I look back at this team, the 2005 team, we were a student team. We just wanted to make it. The 2011 team looked so much more professional. And if I then look back at the Aurora team, they were so laid back. They didn't work on the car at the end of the day of each of the World Solar Challenge. They just held a barbecue for other teams. Nevertheless, if I had this opportunity again, I would do it. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, even though I did it 3 times. The atmosphere of excitement and dedication is really addictive. If I look back at Twente, the university has changed since then. The Solar Team Twente in 2005 was the first student team. Now we have so many more, where students actually apply their knowledge practically and build a car like the Solar Team Twente here. I'm very proud to have started this movement and have inspired probably thousands of students to do the same, just like Solar Team Twente right here. Thank you.
Thank you, Joost. Okay, after this fantastic story about the first edition of Solar Team Twente, we continue. The challenges that Joost had to overcome were of course enormous. There were no scenarios and there were no old team members which you could call in a moment of need for help and support. For us now, this is of course very different, with 9 editions of innovation and knowledge before us.
But what about the editions after 2005? How did we evolve? Let's have a look at the footage of the highlights from the last 10 years.
Het is zondagochtend 6 oktober, het is 6:30 's ochtends. En we staan hier aan de start van de Bridgestone World Solar Challenge 2013. Ik mag straks de eerste etappe rijden en ik heb er hartstikke veel zin in.
Now there's a surprise, Team Twente, the first team to get here, 321 kilometres from Darwin and about 4.25 hours. They've done very well. They started on 4th, of course, this morning. Let's go and find out how the first leg of their journey went.
Ook schijnt stil te staan langs de weg, dus die hebben zich helemaal kapot gereden om wel voorbij te halen, wat overigens niet gelukt is. En wij rijden en we blijven rijden, dus het wordt fantastisch spannend of wij nog tweede gaan worden.
Meer iedereen aan de buren. We hebben weer een stelletje stilstaande Japanners langs de weg over.
Ik werd wakker om 5:30 en toen dacht ik, kut, de zon moet op zijn, ik zie hem nog niet. En een bepaald beetje dat het zo bewolkt is nu.
Redshift number 21.
Ik heb er daar zeker zin in. Dit is natuurlijk waar we al een jaar lang naar uitkijken. En nu mag het eindelijk mag het echt beginnen.
Jongens, vlug. After this great video about the past editions, we are fortunate to have two old team members with us tonight who experienced those editions. Give them a warm applause. 2011 electrical engineer Koen Bosman and content marketer Justine Wolters, 2015. Welcome Koen and Justine. Well, let's start with you, Koen. When you were in Australia 12 years ago, you had quite a remarkable qualification, right? Can you tell us a bit more about that qualification?
Well, yeah, so quite remarkable qualification it was. First, I want to explain you a little bit more about the qualification. Of course, we saw a lot of videos about the race itself. That's where you win the race. But at the qualification, that's where you are to find where to start the race. So it's a day up front of the race, and then you drive a circuit. You saw a few videos of that. Usually a car is not designed to race on a circuit, but it's designed to race in Australia through the highway. So that's a difficult situation to make tight turns, stuff like that. So you don't want to be too risky on the qualification. So usually you aim on a top 5 position. In 2011, we did the qualification and surprise, surprise, we came out first. We had pole position. We never did it before at Solar Team Twente. But we did it with a prize. The prize was the car tipped over. You see it over here. Nobody knew this while the car was finishing, and we were cheering. Everybody was cheering because we had pole position. But as the car came inside the pit box, the driver, he had no color at all. He was scared. He didn't know what damage he had done, but we were all cheering. Luckily, it was just some foil that was scrapped over. It was a 1 hour fix, and the next day we could start as first.
Well, that's quite an experience.
It was, yeah.
Justine, you participated in a race in 2015 where it was a very close call for who was going to win. I believe you finished 3 minutes behind number 1.
Yes.
Yeah, how was that experience for you?
Yeah, that's correct. So we didn't start in pole position. We started. I don't know anymore, but it was such a special feeling to overtake all the other cars. And I was sitting in the escort car, so that's the car in front of the solar car. And every time that we overtook one of the other solar cars of the other teams, we were the ones who communicated to the rest of the convoy. So, for example, after overtaking the Belgian team, we communicated the patatten zijn gebakken, so the fries have been fried. And after overtaking the team from Delft, we communicated the lion has been tamed. So we had like this funny communication to inform the others that we were going to that first place. Eventually, we didn't got a pole position in the end. We became second, but after 3,000 kilometers, it was so exciting, and we were really proud about our what we did. Yeah,
As you should. Yeah. Koen, still after quite a few years of your own edition, you're still very active in our team. I mean, you can be found at the office almost every week.
Surely every week. Yeah.
What are the biggest challenges that you've seen within the team over the past few years?
I think that's a good question. At first, I want to state that something similar that Joost already stated. He already observed that the 2011 team was much more professional compared to his own team. And I think that's what I have seen over the years. Teams become more and more professional, and I really like to see that. But some challenge that keeps on popping up every time is keeping the balance between new cool ideas to make the car more efficient, but also keeping the car very serviceable, as we call it. If something breaks down, you need to make sure that the car is fixed as soon as possible. Every time you have to stop, you cannot race, and that's where you lose the race. If you don't race, if you don't drive, that's when you're losing, really. So it's about finding the balance between those two.
Okay, thank you.
Justine, in 2015, you were responsible for the marketing and communication. How was it back then to report to the home front in the Netherlands?
Yeah, during the race, you're making photos and videos. And to be honest, when I saw the video, before this, I got goosebumps all over again. It's so special to see it and to feel it again. But back then, it was slightly different with the connection in the Outback. So we're taking the videos, the photos, editing it. And the media team had to drive even longer because they didn't have any connection to upload it and get it to Holland for the media in the Netherlands. So that's a big difference compared to, at least I assume, compared to what you guys will see. And also a fun fact, our team made the Instagram profile. So that's something that is nowadays so common. But back then it was new and we didn't know about the potential, but we thought, oh, it's a nice channel, so let's just do it. And that's what Solar Team is about. Okay, it's an opportunity, let's just grab it and do it.
Yeah, the Instagram we use very, very often, so that's quite a fun fact. Koen, to round it all off, if you need to recall one moment of your own edition that would be most memorable, what would it be?
Well, it's maybe a bit of an odd moment. As good as our race started, we started as pole. We had a situation where our motor controller blew up. We had to repair the car for 20 minutes. After that, we were a little bit behind. As we were behind, the first cars were past a small bushfire, and the bushfire grew and grew, and we had to stop for the bushfire. So there was a big split within the first cars and the second part of the cars. We got behind, we were able to continue, and after that we got bad weather, very bad weather. So bad that we had a tailwind, a headwind actually, a headwind of 100 kilometers an hour. So the car was crawling over the road, and I was sitting in a service vehicle. We didn't know what to do. The car was running at 20 kilometers an hour at the highway. So, what do? You overtake the car, the solar car. We were standing at the side of the road, and then we were waving at the solar car to cheer the car up, holding wheel fairings. So I don't know why we did that, but it was a lot of fun. And that's my most memorized moment of my race.
Nice. By the way, a great special effect with the smoke now, with your story.
It's kind of like this weather, yes.
It brings up all the memories. Yeah. And for you, Justine, what's your most memorable moment of your own edition?
Yeah, it's so hard to pick just one, because during the solar team, you have so many phases you're in. So at the beginning, you're a design team, and you end as a racing team. And there are many highlights, but also there are so many downfalls, and it's really, there's so much pressure on the team. And hindsight, I realize how special it is and how forming it is for you as a team. But to get to a remarkable memory, yeah, I see a roundabout over here, and it has to do with a roundabout. So we were in the escort car in front of the solar team, and at one point we had to exit the roundabout. And there was a short but really heavy discussion which exit to take. So there were a few seconds and there was like a lot of screaming in the car. This exit we should take now. And luckily we took the right one because otherwise we had to do another round.
Well, thank you, Koen and Justine, for your great insights and your experience at Solar Team. Ladies and gentlemen, Koen and Justine. As you now know, Koen and Justine already have experienced Solar Team Twente as a full edition. But Jessica, of course, we know better than anyone else what it is like to be in the middle of it, especially because those fossils of ours sometimes forget a thing or two. No matter how great the time pressure is, it's very important for the team to start well rested at the start line in Darwin.
You can only do this project as one big team. And so now then, it may take more than you might imagine beforehand. For this, we set up a buddy system in the team. Everyone has a buddy with whom they date every so often, just to keep them in check. And as you might already feel it coming, Martin and I are buddies of each other. But since we've been already talking so much tonight, I would like to invite another buddy duo to talk about what it's truly like to be in the middle of Solar Team. Please give them a warm applause, Tom and Hjalmar.
Hi, I am Hjalmar, this is Tom, and as said, we're also buddies of each other. We'll take you through our edition so far, what has happened, what it did to us on a personal level and as a team level. So let's start at the beginning.
During summer break of 2022, the team got to see each other for the first time. After getting to know each other shortly, we would already get our first assignment, building a bathtub out of the mold of the previous car, as you can see here. Of course, with a barbecue and some cold drinks. Fast forward 2 months and we would already make our first days at the office, but there wasn't much time to relax.
The first 2 weeks were quite exciting as we didn't have much time to get to know each other, as we had to prepare for our first race. A 24-hour race, endurance race at the circuit of Zolder in Belgium. This was our first real team building as we spent 4 days continuously together, from building up to breaking down. Because of bad weather, we knew the race was going to be difficult, and so it was. Tom, can you tell them a little bit about what happened during the race?
Sure. During the first practice session at the circuit, we would already find out that the car was very difficult to control in the wet and slippery conditions of the track, especially for the new drivers that had barely driven in the car before. Halfway during the race, one of the drivers lost control of the car and it would land sideways in the gravel. A big setback for the team. When the car came back into the pit lane, we found out that the car was not drivable in its current state anymore. So, we met together with the team and we decided to fix the car so that we could still finish the race, and we did.
All in all, it was a quite eventful weekend, or let's say a few days. After those few days, we came back to the office with new knowledge on how we thought we should build our solar car. With little time left, or say a few months, we had to engineer our whole car. Fast forward a few months till the end of February. At the end of February, our whole mechanical team was ready to go into full-time production. 3 of them went to do their production full-time at the Royal NLR in Marknesse. The other 4 went to do their production in Hengelo, here at Stork. Tom, you were one of the 3 people that went furthest away, which was Royal NLR in Marknesse. How was that for you?
Well, the start of production meant that half of the team would move away from the office and start producing the car itself. Very different to long days at the office, sitting still behind a computer screen. At Royal NLR, the ribs of the car would be produced, while at Stork, the molds of the car were produced. But being away from the rest of the team would also bring its challenges. For example, communication with other team members was as important as ever, but was never as difficult. At the same time, it was amazing to work with new materials and to finally see parts of the car itself being made. The car that we had designed over the previous months and could finally give a sneak peek of during the design presentation. Hjalmar, as you were part of the communication team, could you tell me something about how it was for the communication team to organize the first big event?
It was quite a big experience. This was our first major event. We hadn't shown even a little bit of what we've been doing the last 4 to 6 months. And then the time was there. We had to prepare an event where we would show a little bit of our design. We were quite a bit stressed if everything was going to be okay. But all in all, it worked out great. And we had a real nice event at the Gros factory here in Enschede. After those molds were made, which you told about, our mechanical team was ready to go to produce the car that's standing here at Fokker. Tom, you were there. How were those 8 weeks?
Yeah, the production phase at Fokker is usually the most hectic period for the mechanical team. Here the car comes together as we build the outer shell of the car. Long days of laminating carbon fiber would almost become a habit. And with only 7 people to produce a car and a lot that needed to be done, a tight schedule had to be maintained. Quite a challenge, but of course, not impossible. In addition to this, we were separated 200 kilometers from the rest of the team, so we had no clue what was going on with other team members. Team meetings were held online while we were laminating, and Hjalmar and I actually prepared part of this presentation in an online Teams meeting, while the rest of the team was sanding carbon in the background behind me. How did the team back at the office actually experience this phase of the project, Hjalmar?
It was also a happening. First, you are with 19 people at the office. Every sub-team had their own office, and suddenly 7 people of them were gone. So what did we do? We put all the people in one office and all worked there together, which was quite something, because everything did their own thing. So when you guys came back a few weeks ago, we had to change the dynamics of the team, because our office space had to be rearranged again, so you guys could fit in back again. But what was most important was that we could finally see, as the whole team, that the physical product was here. Our car was back here. We could finally see what we did, what we worked for the last 9 months. And that is why we are all here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom and Hjalmar, for these insights in our team. And let me tell you that without this team, it would have been impossible to be where we are today. What sets us apart are not just the groundbreaking technologies that we use, but our continuous commitment for improvement, both as individuals and as a team. We understand that progress is not an isolated event, but a constant journey where innovation thrives and greatness becomes our norm.
And the tangible result of our collective efforts stands here before us. The newest solar car of Solar Team Twente. And tonight we are all gathered here to the much anticipated car reveal of Solar Team Twente. RedX is a true testament of cutting-edge technology, pushing the limits of knowledge and innovation. And we are honored to present to you this new masterpiece, the compilation of countless hours of tireless work, untold challenges, and unwavering dedication. To reveal RedX, I want to invite Joost Koekarts to the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, Joost Koekarts. Joost, whenever you're ready, reveal RedX to the world. Ladies and gentlemen, the newest solar car of Solar Team Twente, RedX.
Extreme performance. Just that and nothing less. That's what defines us. 20 years of Solar Team Twente, continuous innovation and development. Endless miles through the outback. And an outburst of joy in Agadir. Countless hours of engineering, generations of skilled students, and an obsession for detail brought us here. It's up to us to uphold this legacy, defend our colors and pride. Red X is ready to bring it home.
Finally, the secret is out. Friends, family, partners, and other solar team enthusiasts can finally see what we've been working so hard on. We've spent countless of hours pouring our hearts into creating RedX, both on the computer and in the workshop. We've seen it come together, piece by piece, and watched its transformation from idea to reality. And seeing RedX right here on stage is an unbelievable experience.
But that's not all for this evening, because in addition to the beautiful aerodynamic design, a lot of technical innovations have been implemented. To dive deeper into these innovations, I would like to invite some of our engineers to the stage, which tell us more about these technological innovations which make RedX truly remarkable. Ladies and gentlemen, aerodynamic engineer Koen and Bart and electrical engineers Jelle, Ivar and Jorian. Give them a warm applause.
Thank you, Martin and Jessica. I'm Koen, and this is Jorian, and we're responsible for the battery of the solar car, where I mainly work on the mechanical design and Jorian on the electronical part. Our main goal this year was to make sure the battery would fit in our new car, as well as fit all the new battery cells. And this was a challenge, as Jorian will explain.
Yes, to have the most capacity in our battery pack, we choose cells that have high energy densities, but also perform well in the climate of Australia. This resulted in very non-standard battery cells, requiring a lot of additional engineering time for the mechanical part of the battery. Also, these cells are hard to come by and need a lot of funding. To ensure this funding, we've started a crowdfunding, which you can find at the entrance of the store call, so please contribute. Apart from the mechanical design, also the entire electrical design received an update. For example, we built a new battery management system, which is even now more reliable and efficient.
Especially challenging this year was to make sure that we could laser weld the battery cells. Laser welding, like the name suggests, uses a high power laser to locally heat up the cell and the cell tap and weld them together. And compared to other connection methods, like for example using fasteners or spot welding, this really improves the connection between cell and cell tap, and therefore also improves the efficiency, but also the reliability of our new battery.
However, after storing all this energy, we still need something that powers us through the outback of Australia. This is the job of our fully in-house developed powertrain. Jelle has spent most of his last year working on this part of our project, and he will tell you about all the details.
That's right, Jorian. And I brought something to the table as well, but we'll get to that in a minute.
The unique feature we have as a team here is that we developed the whole powertrain ourselves. This is a massive advantage as it allows us to align everything to each other. This quickly adds up because our powertrain is unsurprisingly our biggest power draw.
Well, luckily, it's being put to good use. When you're thinking about a powertrain, you're probably thinking about our electromotor. This is the pancake-like motor in the rear wheel of our solar car.
It is. And this design has been in development by our team for over 10 years now. Producing and testing various motor designs gives us a lot of experience over the years, to the point where we can now make a motor with virtually any character trait we wish.
And this is what our strategist Mark wishes the car to be capable of. But you also need a dedicated motor controller to control the rotational speed of our motor. In the solar car community, several options are available for this, but we've been developing our own for quite a while. This is a very ambitious project. How did this project go, Jelle?
Well, to see that, this journey started way back in 2016, when then electrical engineer Jan Lense saw the opportunity to use a new, more efficient type of semiconductors. This project grew quickly, and together with the electronics developer Twente, we worked tirelessly on multiple generations of this project. It was a long road, with lots of obstacles to overcome.
So this is the one that did that. One could argue the most efficient motor controller for solar cars in the world right now. But we're often known for our ambition, and our ambition hasn't ended yet.
After this one playing a big part in Red Horizon's victory in Morocco, we were thinking bigger. Together with fellow Enschede student team Solarboat Twente, we took on the challenge to not only make the most efficient motor controller for a solar car, but also for a solar boat. This required a bigger range of use cases, and at the same time, we focused on reducing the weight and size of the device. This meant a lot of hours to be spent together, with Tijmen from Solarboat working full-time on this project, and Jan and Thijs, former teammates from Solar Team, spending the majority of their free time working on this project. And I'd say it was all worth it.
It has indeed been quite a roller coaster. I'm sure everyone is eager to see how this project turned out. I think it's time to reveal the final result.
I agree. Carrying the fitting nickname, the second nickname actually, Yasmini, the newest generation of motor controllers for both solar cars and boats is actually right here.
Now that's a significant difference. It's not even the half of its original size.
Neat, right? Yet we didn't have to compromise anything. We actually gained a bit of efficiency, so we don't even need a heatsink anymore. Actually, this one's whole casing matches the size of the heatsink of the previous generation.
Looks like this device is set to play a big role in world championships for both solar cars and boats. We wish Solarboat Twente good luck with the race in a few weeks already.
Then let's talk about the elephant in the room, the solar panel, which looks like something we have never seen before. Let's make some room for our fellow engineer Ivar.
Thank you, Jelle and Jorian. You might have noticed something different about our solar panel. This has been the first edition where we have shingled non-gallium arsenide solar cells. That's a mouthful and a tongue twister, but what it essentially means is that we have overlapped solar cells that are made out of another material than gallium arsenide. This allows us to design a much smaller car, and this is how that works. The white area between the solar cells is removed. Now there is no need for the car to have space for this, so we can design the car a little bit smaller. This principle allowed us to design the smallest solar car in the world back in 2019. And this year, we've decided to take it one step further. We've decided to also cut our solar cells, optimizing the effective area of our solar panel even more. That's why we can once again design a very, very small car. During our design review, we went over the decisions we have to make in our design phase. We looked at the benefits and the disadvantages for every decision. I've now already told you that the car can be made smaller, but what are the impacts electrically? Does this have an impact on the generated power of our solar panel? Well, that's an issue we had to investigate thoroughly. But in the end, we saw that the fun continues. It's actually better for the solar panel as well. By creating smaller solar cells, we can carry more solar cells with us. And electrically, having more but smaller solar cells makes our solar panel less sensitive to shadows. That's great, but the main advantage still is that we can design a smaller car. And a smaller car results also in less drag. And that's a topic Bart and Koen can tell you more about. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Ivar. So how do you design the most efficient solar car? Well, it's very important to minimize the drag, the air resistance, because it's the main source of drag. To do this, we want a car to be as minimalistic as possible and to resemble a raindrop-like shape. In our design process, we start with airfoils, as you can see behind me. Airfoils are wing profiles that have been experimentally tested, so we have a lot of data about them. There are a lot of different airfoils, each with its own special purpose. After blending different shapes and airfoils into a car-like figure, we start simulating, because we want to know how these shapes are behaving. After the simulations and collecting data, the next step is the concept choice. This is the moment when the aerodynamics team presents to the other team, to the whole team, which car they think is the best for the race in Australia. The choice can be made between two main concepts, the catamaran or the monohull. As you all can see, we obviously went with the monohull this year.
Yeah, and after having chosen the main concept of our car, the next step is to further build up the model in CAD software. And we do this by combining the airfoil shapes Bart told you about with curves and surfaces. And our goal is to make these surfaces aligned as well as possible with each other, so that the flow around the car is interrupted as little as possible. And we do this by constantly running simulations to decide what the best combination of curves and surfaces is. And in the end, we managed to reduce the total air resistance of a car by about 10%. And this phase continues up till the final deadline in January, when the final design of the car is made. However, the job is not yet done, as the final design of the car is not the end product.
No, that's right, Koen. As aerodynamics team, our end product is not the cut model of the car, but it's the plug, as we call it, or the positive mold. And the positive mold will then be used in the first step of the production of our solar car. And these are some of the innovations that make Radix truly remarkable.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thanks guys for this great technical speech of yours. For me, as a member of the marketing and communication team, I can only be surprised of all the technical gadgets the team has managed to put into the car. The process and the considerations, the final result are fantastic to admire. To be able to see the final car now here, after the empty screen on September 5th last year, colorful simulations 3 months later, the production phase, and the final result now here is and remains special.
What are we all doing this for? Why do we build a car so small and ingenious that we can barely fit in? The Bridgestone World Solar Challenge, ladies and gentlemen. These are the world championships where we drive to the harsh and desolate Australian outback. To give a better insight into what this all looks like, Tim and Mark will soon be on stage. To get you in a bit of the mood for Australia, we're going to watch some footage.
The Australian outback, one of the most harsh environments in the world. Through this desert, which is plagued with sandstorms, wildfires, and extreme heat, we will drive more than 3,000 kilometers in our new solar car, Red X.
I am Tim, and next to me says Mark. And together we will take you on the journey that we are going through in October this year, the Bridgestone World Solar Challenge.
We've prepared for this for the past year with a team of 19 people. In Australia, however, a lot of tasks need to be done simultaneously and extra expertise is needed. That is why, when we arrive there, we will increase our team from 19 to 40 people. We will be joined by all team members, a media crew, and even a meteorologist from the Royal Netherlands Air Force. With this, we shall prepare for the first two major challenges, the scrutineering and qualification.
And let's first talk about that scrutineering. At the start of our edition, we received a booklet of over 60 pages filled with regulations our solar car has to fulfill. It is full with safety regulations and other kind of regulations. During the scrutineering, the organization will check very precisely if we meet all these requirements.
And this is a very exciting time for us and very thrilling and exciting, because if we do not fulfill every single one of these regulations, we cannot participate in the race. However, we also cannot take a lot of margins, because to win and to really put us in there in the race, we need to be as efficient as possible. That's why our saying in Solar Team Twente is taking margins is losing.
And the organization is not the only one looking at our newest car. The competition also takes this time to arm it with cameras big as this to scoop out our newest innovations and have a look at our car. The scrutineering, when it is finished, we cannot celebrate for too long. We have to prepare for the next phase before the race, qualification.
Yes, and during qualification, the starting positions of the race will be determined. Every team will need to drive around a racetrack at Hidden Valley as fast as possible. The faster you drive around the track, the earlier you can start the race.
And as Koen Bosman explained earlier in his presentation, this is not what our car is designed for. Our car is optimized for very efficient and very straight driving through the outback in Australia. But it is surprisingly fast around the racetrack.
We have qualified, and that means that the next morning it's time for the race. This is the moment we've been preparing for the past 1.5 years. The team is ready, the driver is ready, we are ready, and we're off. Red X has started this long journey to Adelaide, but it does not drive this distance all alone.
Our solar car is supported by a convoy of over 11 other cars. We have the GMU, the decision-making unit driving behind the solar car, where all the strategic decisions take place. We have a car especially for technical service. We have multiple cars to scout ahead to see if the route is safe and clear for our solar car to pass. And of course, we have the media team to capture this spectacular event on camera.
And this convoy has a tough journey ahead. They will need to travel more than 3,000 kilometers through the tough outback of Australia. And the solar vehicle can only use the energy of the sun.
3,000 kilometers. That is hard to visualize. How far is it actually?
Well, that's a good question. So in 3,000 kilometers, we can get here in the Storkals, all the way over to Istanbul, over the public road. And then when we arrive there, we will still have 500 kilometers left to drive.
Scout to DMU, over.
Tim, I believe that's your porto?
DMU to Scout, over. They take their time.
Team on site, prepare to overtake, over.
Understood, out. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as you heard, our rivals are coming close and it's now our task to perform a perfect takeover.
And that is not as easy as it sounds, because the World Solar Challenge takes place on the public road. And that means that we have to overtake our rival solar team on the highway. To do this safely, we have the scout driving a few minutes ahead to check for upcoming traffic. If it tells us that the road is clear, we can overtake and continue the race. Only now, we are ahead.
And with this long race day behind us, we come to the night stop, the end of the day, because we actually have to camp in the outback ourselves with our tents. It's now up to the technical service team to prepare the car for the next day. The tires are changed, every nut and every bolt is checked, and the whole electrical system is tested. This lasts until late at night.
Yeah, and at the same time, a lot of things are happening in the encampment. So tents are being set up, dinner is cooked, and of course the day is discussed with the team. Everybody's motivated, the atmosphere is good while we're preparing for the next day. And then very fast, after a short night's sleep, the next morning arrives. We first grab as much light as possible from the rising sun to charge our car as much as possible. And then we're off to the finish of the race in Adelaide.
And with this, the end of the challenge comes in sight. The end of the challenge in Adelaide. The footage you just saw, obviously from the years behind, will be a reality for us in a few months' time. Team 23 will travel all the way to Australia together with this beautiful car to compete against all other teams from all over the world. Not one of our current team members has ever been down under. And while we have been working on it for almost a year now, it still feels unreal to me that in actually exactly 4 months, we will stand at the start line in Darwin. Last year, the team managed to achieve the ultimate goal and to become champion at the Solar Race in Morocco. We will fight this year to keep that title and become world champion in Australia again. We will leave you today with the winning video of last edition. Thank you.
Anderhalf jaar werk, keihard gevochten voor het resultaat en dan als eerste over de finish komen, dat is echt een goed gevoel.
En eigenlijk als strategie dus het beste uit die auto halen, maar we hebben gewoon een hele goede auto gebouwd met het hele team. Dus het is echt fantastisch geweest.
Dus we hebben gewonnen, we hebben een jaar naartoe gewerkt, dus ik denk dat we wel heel blij kunnen zijn met z'n allen.
This part always gives me chills. Thank you, Mark and Tim, for preparing all of us for the Bridgestone World Solar Challenge in a few months. Well, let me start by promising all of you that I will be the last new face on the stage for tonight. I am Kirsten, and I am the proud team manager of the team you have met here. Being part of Solar Team Twente is an intense but incredible experience. I see a lot of friends and family in the audience, and I guess you have noticed a difference in the last year too, haven't you? We sometimes have to work evenings or weekends, and when we finally get home to spend some quality time with you, the only thing we can talk about is this solar car we weren't allowed to show to you yet. You play a crucial role in the development of the car, and let me illustrate this with one example. Sven, he is one of the team's mechanical engineers, suddenly had to work the weekend of his birthday. And he had to bring this news to his family. He just came back from his intense production period at Fokker, so I can only imagine how much his family was looking forward to this moment. But then I get a phone call from Sven's mother asking me at what time she could surprise Sven and the team with a birthday cake. She, together with the whole family, drove to Enschede to fuel the team with a birthday cake and a good dose of family support. And this is just one example of how all of you contribute to this car. You provide us with the space so that we can develop ourselves to be the next world champions. I would like to thank all of you, friends and family members of the team, for your heartwarming support. Mag je vasthouden?
In addition, I would like to thank our partners as well, whom most of you are here in this hall. Without you, this project would have been impossible. You make sure that we are able to create this, the next car, Red X. Give a big applause for yourselves. Thank you, partners. In addition, I would like to give a special thanks to our event partners. Trebbe, Stork, de gemeente Hengelo, the people who've delivered this beautiful screen, Kit Engineering, and not to forget Stage X for building this beautiful stage. And then for the last thing. He doesn't know I'm gonna do this, but for the one who's made this all happen, please give a big applause to Daan van Harren. Kom. As we see it with us, Daan is our eventmeister. Without him, this whole event would have been impossible. Daan? Give a big applause for Daan, please.
Thank you, Jalmar. The knowledge of our partners, but also the region of Twente and all team members has allowed Solar Team Twente to be a source of inspiration for 20 years already.
But now you have witnessed our milestone, the car reveal of Athletics. It's time to focus on the new milestone, the Bridgestone World Solar Challenge. And therefore, I would like to invite you to our convoy experience, which is over there, where you can have a close look at how it is to participate in that World Solar Challenge. And when you're thinking, well, maybe can I support this team? Yes, of course you can. We have a crowdfunding, which is over there, and you can support us, and all your donations are fantastic, and which we allow us to build this beautiful car.
We can't wait to drive Radix in Australia, where we will showcase its remarkable capabilities to the world. But for now, I would like to wrap up this presentation and invite you all to the bar where you can cheers to Radix. Thank you and good night.
Thank you.
You are the guest of my soul.